Card number 1, Rebirth of the Feminine. Since this is the very first card, I'll introduce myself. This is Jonathan Zapp of zapporacle.com, and I'm here in my slightly eccentric study here in my house in Boulder, Colorado. I guess this isn't the most perfectly feminine backdrop for a card about rebirth of the feminine. Could probably use some flowers or something, but it's feminine to make use with what you have. You are living in what might be the end of a more than 6,000 year period characterized by dominator cultures that have oppressed the feminine in females and males. This realm is dying for the rebirth of the feminine. Rebirth of the feminine requires leaving the default reality and venturing into the sometimes lonely frontiers of mutation and metamorphosis. And it's got to be metamorphosis because it's rebirth. Rebirth of the feminine may include the re-empowerment of your intuition, an emphasis on authentic, loving relationships, living the full spectrum of life as compared to emphasizing vertical spiritual transcendence or optimized functioning. Now, don't get me wrong. I like vertical spiritual transcendence and optimized functioning, especially that one, as much as the next guy. And it's usually an either-or proposition with those two. If you're New Age or Eastern, or you're going Eastern, you emphasize vertical spiritual transcendence, so do some extreme Christians. But in the West, there can be more of an emphasis on optimized functioning, and wanting to be in the best shape and totally together. But then you may reach a certain zone in your life where optimized functioning just isn't possible anymore. So if you're forever in a war to subdue the flesh and become more and more optimal, you're on a very anti-feminine path. You will have to surrender to aging and things like that at some point. Okay, speaking off the cuff there. A reawakened connection to the body and to the earth is necessary for rebirth of the feminine. An altered relationship to time that leaves room for spontaneity and unstructured being time. Emphasizing eros, which I define as oceanic merger with other beings, as compared to pornographic sex on the level of the genitalia, or sex as a metaphor for power. Without rebirth of the feminine, you live in a state of rage and or existential anxiety, or as Jung put it, the life-giving rhythm of the eons becomes the dread ticking of the clock. Rebirth of the feminine allows for the further possibility of the inner alchemical marriage of your masculine and feminine elements, your archetypal masculine and feminine elements, which exist in both males and females, to create the androgynous wholeness that is your birthright. And key follow-up links can be found in the card, especially Casting Precious into the Cracks of Dune, Androgyny, Alchemy, Evolution, and the One Ring, crucial on this subject of achieving that union of archetypal masculine and feminine, and also Chapter 2 of my book, Crossing the Event Horizon, Human Metamorphosis, and the Singularity Archetype, and this is now available in a second edition free on zapporacle.com, the site. And again, that's Chapter 2 called Logos Beheld, where you'll find out much more about rebirth of the feminine and how that was suppressed by patriarchy.